I was graduated out of college in '62, and in the summer I was working on our farm. We had acreage in Rockwall and Wiley and Frisco, and we had Floyd Gibson as our farm superintendent. We had Jim Lee as our horse wrangler, who lived in a little log house down by the barn. So I was working for Gib, and in '62, we were going to go get his horse to use to help move some cows. We were going to try to get them into the pen. This was up in Rockwall. Along 205, Gibbs' horse was in that pasture, so we just went through the gate, and the horse was right there, and he was friendly enough, and then I just jumped up on him thinking, well, we'll just walk this thing, bleep, 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 over to where we needed to use him. The horse took off running because he hadn't been ridden in 3 days. He was feeling kind of spry. So the mud was wet, and as he's running along, the mud's building up on his feet. He turns real sharp to the right, and as he turns and goes that way that quick, I lose my seating, and I fall off, and I hit that concrete culvert pipe right here. And I got 2 skull fractures here, a third one here. This collarbone is a compound fracture. I've got 3 breaks in my shoulder blade, and I've got a green break in a rib. I'm unconscious. Jim Jackson has my head in his lap, and I talked to him later. He said, I felt like a squashed melon. Gib calls the doctor. He calls the ambulance. I regain consciousness, and I'm trying to get up to go back to work. The ambulance arrives, and they're trying to stuff me in the ambulance, and I don't want to go. So much for me. They put me in the ambulance anyway. So we're going up 205. Gib tells the driver, take him to Baylor Hospital. I'm laying on the emergency room, on the table in the emergency room, and my heart quits beating, and I quit breathing. And so they do external heart massage and get my heart started again. And I'm in the emergency room for 8 hours. Then they transfer me to intensive care. And intensive care, the nurse is trying to change bottles on one of the IVs, and I kicked her across the room. And they put me in restraining straps, and the doctors are over here talking about me and my case, and they look around, and I'm standing up by the side of the bed, having gotten over the guardrails out of the restraining straps. So I am essentially comatose. I don't recognize anybody. Intensive care family comes in for 5 minutes every 2 hours. Dad, mother come in, I wouldn't know them. Then the breakthrough, one day I'm laying in there, Dad's sitting next to me, and I roll over and I say, hi, Pop. So then I went to a private room. And while I'm in that private room, there's this vision comes in, and she's wearing a white cocktail dress with a big green bow on her hip. And it's Joanne. And she was kind of irritated at me. We had a date to go out on the 23rd of July, and I didn't show up. And Mother called her and said I wasn't going to show up. So she came to visit me. She came to visit other times, but that was one particular time, and she said I kept asking her if she had some change or if she had some money so we could go, so I could go home. Hospitals were for sick people. But that was the vision that came into the room.